Hi, I'm Samantha Anderson, Director of Communications for Newton Public Schools, and I'm here with Superintendent Dr. Deb Ham, and we're here to give you a quick recap of last night's Board of Education meeting. Not a whole lot of action was taken. It was a pretty quick meeting. There were a couple themes that we have been talking about the last couple of months, and we just wanted to make sure you were updated on those. The first was the bond. You gave an update on that. Yeah.
Right. We don't really have a lot of new information over our last board meeting, but our application and all of the appropriate documents, supporting documents for that, have been submitted to the State Board of Education. And their action then will be to go ahead and take it to the full board. And we anticipate that that will happen sometime next month. But over the next few weeks, I imagine I will be in contact with Dale Dennis at KSDE, and we will go through an interview process about our bond application. So that really is the big news. Not a lot going on there. We don't expect this bond proposal to be approved, or our bond application to be approved, because there isn't sufficient funding left. And so what that means is we're not sure how that will put us in line for next year, but we're hopeful that it will advance our application in the process. In addition to that, it calls attention to this issue with our state legislators. So as they're all in session right now, we hope that they will be looking at this particular statute and making some changes.
All right. Another update you gave was on Summit Learning and what the district's doing right now. Can you just let us know what that is?
Right. We started out with a report from building administration and teachers about their whole redesign process. So Summit Learning is one piece of that, but it's not the entire piece. And so they talked about their interest-based groups and the different activities that they were doing with their students, the service opportunities that students have had in, again, working with outside agencies and community members on ways to be involved in the community. They talked about the opportunities that students have had with things like designing roller coasters and different projects that the school is working on. So good information there. The members also shared, teachers shared some personal stories, how it was impacting students in their classroom, and they gave very specific examples of that. They talked about the morning meetings, class meetings, and how they're using restorative justice practices to work through issues and problems in the classroom, or issues and problems between students. So it was very informative and good for the board to have that update. Then for my portion, we've had concerns raised by parents and some teachers about different aspects of Summit and the impact it is having or maybe having on students and staff members. So we've begun the process of looking at each one of those items and then determining what our next actions will be related to them. So we're taking a look at student data privacy, and from that, we've been working with the legal department at KASB as well as our own board attorney to review the application and our district policies and practice as it relates to informing parents of their rights about student data. And then we've also I also informed the board that we have multiple agreements with multiple vendors that we provide information to them about our students, but it's limited to only the things that they would need to have. So every student has a state ID number, and the ID number and the student name would be shared, but no other personal information is shared. And that's really only so we can actually use the application that we're uploading the information for. We had talked about special education and the need to make sure that our individual education plans are being followed, and that we have an obligation under federal law to make sure that those things are happening. And then as a result of that, each individual education plan has accommodations or modifications that are made regarding the curriculum that we have in our district and the resources that we use to teach that curriculum. So Summit is no different in that we need to make the necessary adjustments as required and as called for under a student's IEP so that they have a greater chance of being successful. And so we're looking into that. We also are going to be monitoring over the next about 2 months the screen time for students. We have a way that we can capture 2 weeks worth of information about how long a student is logged into their computer. The real key here is that just because a person is logged in doesn't mean that they're looking at the computer. So for instance, your computer is on and you are logged in, but I may not be looking at it because I'm looking at you. So students may have their computer on, have it in front of them, but also be entering into a collaborative conversation with their partner or listening to what the teacher is saying or any number of other things. So we have to be kind of careful about how that information is looked at individually. And then we also heard concerns from parents about anxiety, feeling that their students were coming home more stressed than usual, those kinds of things. So we're asking that our social workers be more cognizant and more aware, helping students be able to express not only what they're feeling about school, but also helping them to utilize stress relieving strategies to help them deal if they are feeling that way. So looking at all of those things in addition to the grading system, parents have expressed that the grading system seems to be very complicated and difficult to understand. And so trying to determine how best to convey the information to parents in ways that are understandable so that when they look at the information that is provided to them in the platform, that they can easily understand how that grade was arrived at and what does that mean.
Okay. Well, thank you for all that information.
Sure.
And that's all we have for your update today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section. Our next Board of Education meeting is February the 25th at 7 p.m. here at McKinley. And we hope to see you there, and we hope you have a great week.